and I'm a Somatic Movement Educator. So I do research in movement and how it applies to people if they are dealing with aging issues or mental health issues. So the doctor said I wouldn't, survive past my teens.
Okay.
Yeah. So of course they said you shouldn't engage in anything strenuous. And when you tell a boy, a young boy, you can't do this, of course they will try to make everything happen. Being like a motherly figure, right, held my hand, pulled me to a corner with a lot of engineers, right? They were all master degrees holder, and she said, "Do you not want to be like them? These are master degrees holder, I say, I think masters is great, but I don't want to be like them. I want to be like me. Never downplay the effects of dance. It's not what you do, it's how you do something that makes a difference. Why is it when this person go to this dance class don't feel so amazing, but when this person goes to another dance class, it's like, woohoo! Something is there. Yes. So just to deal with the physio aspect and discounting, the psychological ones, and then meeting a psychologist and not accounting for the physical aspects, this becomes a problem. We need to understand how they come together, and that's where somatic work is. I was born with a hole in the heart. They said it's just going to be like this. They actually suggested operation twice, when I was 7 and when I was 9, something like this. And because of the technology or whatever back then, right, they told me if you continue to be very strenuous, you're probably not going to live past your teens. So, sit down and be, chill. And this guy here cannot be chill. While having the medical condition, I decided that I want to still live my life in the way I should. And back then, I was being put with my grandfather a lot. And, they always say, speak to God, right? And I'm like, I prayed to God. I said, hey, I'm 7. I'm seeing my mom suffering, that, she's trying to make ends meet. And every once in a while, I have to go to the hospital, and I think this is just a waste of time. So if you can give me a direction, I would appreciate that. When I was a kid, after watching a lot of movies, right, I've always wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, lawyer.
Yeah.
Lawyer.
So a lawyer, mainly because, as a child, I thought lawyer made big bucks, right? And since my dad wasn't around, and I want my mom to lead a better life. So I said to her, I'm going to take care of you as a child, saying that to your mom. And right after the O-levels, it's waiting tables, right? And then doing services in hotel. That helped me to understand what make people laugh, smile, what ticks, what make them tick, and what makes them excited. And when they are hungry, how do they behave? I did my JC for a week, but I was sleeping a lot in class in a lecture.
Okay.
So I walked into the principal's office and I said to the principal, I said, you know what, maybe junior college is not for me. Maybe it's time for me to go back to waiting tables again. And then came the application for Polytechnic, right? So I was looking forward to hospitality. So I was looking for this queue for hospitality. I couldn't find it. So I started queuing and just waited. It was very long queue. I think more than a couple hours, you know.
Really?
Yeah, and when it's finally my turn, I looked up and I was like, oh, engineering. And I was wondering, wow, what is this? You know, and that lady in front, you know, was saying, quick, hurry up, sign, there's a lot of people. The craziest thing is you're going to be afraid that your mom says, you didn't sign for anything? What are you doing, you know? And so I just signed up for something, went home with a paper and say, okay, I'm doing engineering. And first year, you know, went by, and second year, and then on the final year, I met dance. Because in my second year, I was with the dance team in Temasek Poly. We won a competition. We came in second, you know, as a group. I find a lot of peace in myself at that moment. Everybody was going up to the stage to get the award. I see myself quiet, peaceful, looking at the people and asking myself, I think there's something here. And then I said to my partner, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do dance professionally. And even though I was interning for Singapore Technologies back then, you know, after the internship, I said to my supervisor, again, you know, like secondary school, thank you very much. I don't think I want to do this. I feel like I should be doing dancing. So on the final year, can you imagine how mad my mother was?
Why didn't you just complete it? I'm just curious.
When they give you a diagnosis, they say you wouldn't live past your teens, and I'm over the teens, almost at that point, right? 17 is a real time. 18, 19, and 20. So you're no longer a teenage, right? In your head, you have this thing about, let's seize the day, you know, let's do whatever we can, let's not waste time. Then being present and living in the moment become extremely important for someone who has limited time. You know, I enrolled myself into LaSalle College of the Arts, being the first boy there. It was 3 years.
Did you stop? Did you complete it?
I completed that and became the most outstanding student of my faculty.
Wow.
And then went on to become the valedictorian.
Wow.
I served the army after my LaSalle College of the Arts. So I was brought down from Air Force to Army, right, to do National Day Parade choreography. And then I left Singapore to audition for a prestigious school in Europe, Rotterdam. And I was particularly fascinated with the culture that the European artists brought. But I said, dance is not just about dance. Dance is also about life.
Okay.
What is the dance of life? I came back to Singapore when it was about 28.
You completed your
Yeah, I completed my degree. I was going to sign another year contract to perform. But for whatever reason, you know, I came back to visit my mom, right? Yeah, she was still there for me. You know, I came back to visit her. I went back to Netherlands again. But within a week, I flew back again. I didn't know why. 6 months later, she left. So she passed. And she passed with a brain tumor. And that changed the whole, you know, like, wow, what is Vincent Yong going to do now without my mother? But one thing led to another. I spoke to certain people, and before I knew it, I was lecturing at LaSalle, which is more than 10 over years after I graduated, and I went back to the space to lecture. So I believe what's really important, you know, sometimes after all the pursuits in your life, we should always come back and ask ourselves, you know, what is it for? Yeah, I've done my education, I've done my work, you know, I have served at different places, right? What else? Is it just about running away? I want to now serve my people, Singaporeans, people who are in Singapore, right? If I'm here, I want to do the best I can, starting from my personal environment, my community that I'm building, right? The people who are working with Danspire, which is my company, or the people or other agencies where I'm in partnerships with. I want to help the people around me to become healthy and happy.